Now I will derive the quadratic formula by completing the square. I'm going to assume, of course, that you are already familiar with completing the square. Okay, so here we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Of course, we want to solve and isolate x. We want to solve for x. And our first step will be to subtract c from both sides of the equation. So we have ax squared plus bx equals negative c. Okay, so now to complete the square, first I'm going to have to factor out an a. Ax squared divided by a is just x squared. And bx divided by a, because we're factoring a out, right? So we need to divide bx by a. It will be just b over a x. And that's just equal to negative c for now. Now we want to determine what number or what element we need to add right here to complete the square. And to do that, we're always going to take the middle number, or rather just this element multiplying x. We need to divide it by 2 and square it. So we have b over a over 2, and we want to square that. I'm betting that a lot of people are probably thinking, wow, this is going to be a little complicated, but don't be afraid. We can achieve this together. So b over a divided by 2 is just b over 2a. Because if we divide something by 2, we're actually multiplying it by half. So b over a times half is just b over 2a. And we're squaring that. The square, of course, applies to both b and the 2a. So we get b squared over 4a squared. 2 squared is 4, a squared, just a squared. So this right here is the element that we're going to add over here to complete the square. But we also need to add it to the right-hand side of the equation to balance it, right? But not before multiplying it by a. So we're going to add a times b squared over 4a squared right there. And at this point, we can factor this. Wonderful. And once we factor it, all we need to do is have x plus this element here, b over a, divided by 2, which is b over 2a, all squared. Nice and clean, right? And why is that again? Well, b over a divided by 2 is just b over 2a. And that's just equal to negative c. Now I'm going to simplify this slightly. There's an a here, and a squared down at the bottom. They can cancel out, essentially. So we have b squared over 4a. Don't worry, because now we're almost there. We're almost done this. We're almost done this whole thing. We want to isolate x, of course. So our next step will be to multiply both sides by 1 over a, so that we can cancel out this a over here. So 1 over a, so those cancel out. So on the other side we can actually distribute the 1 over a. So x plus b over 2a squared equals negative c times 1 over a, which is just negative c over a, plus b squared over 4a times 1 over a is just b squared over 4a squared. Now at this point, what can we do at this point? Well, we can take the square root of both sides. Fantastic. And what's going to happen? Well, these things are going to cancel out. We get rid of the square. And on the other side, we get plus or minus. Because if we take the root of anything, we essentially have plus or minus the square root of it. And now let's continue. So we have x plus b over 2a equals plus or minus the square root of c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. Now, one thing that I want to do is actually combine these fractions. And to do that, I'm going to need to multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction, or numerator and denominator, by 4a, so that we have a common denominator of 4a squared. So over here I'm going to have negative c times 4a, so negative 4ac plus b squared. I should have given myself more room for this, all over 4a squared. But we're almost done. I'm going to continue over here, I think. Hopefully I'll have room. So on the left hand side of the equation we still have just x plus b over 2a. Now something magical will happen to the right hand side of the equation. I can just split up the square root, and I'll actually put the b squared in right before the minus 4ac, and that's just all over the square root of 4a squared down at the bottom. And at this point I can actually subtract b over 2a from both sides of the equation, so that I can take this to the right hand side. And this is already looking more like the quadratic formula, isn't it? Fantastic. So we have negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus, b squared minus 4ac all over the square root of 4a squared is just 2a, because the square root of 4 is just 2 and the square root of a squared is just a. And then finally, look at this, we already have a common denominator, so we can just combine them. And finally we get negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, which is the quadratic formula. Let me just write it bigger over here. There we go. So hopefully I made good sense. This is a long video, and I suggest that you give it a try a couple times to derive the quadratic formula, and good luck with your studies.